Hey there, I'm Douglas from Draftbit, and welcome to the Juno Job Board series. In the first video, we looked at how to create an account, how to onboard a user. If you've not already seen that video, I would highly recommend you check it out before watching this one. Now that our user has been onboarded onto the system, in this video, we're going to look at how to create the home screen, how to fetch the user, how to search for jobs, and how to display the latest jobs. So this is what we're going to build. When you open the application, you're greeted with a home screen. On the home screen, it's going to say welcome back. Then it's going to fetch your profile picture. Then it's going to fetch your username. And then it's going to display it. And here we have a search functionality where we can search through the jobs that we want. And we're able to see these jobs. Then we go back to the home screen where we can view the latest jobs. We can click on a job and see this job in more detail. We're able to see the overview, the requirements that the job needs. We're able to go through the details of the job, like job title, job type, salary, experience level, location, and the date on which the job was posted. We're also able to dive deeper and see information about the company, like the company name, the employees that the company has, when it was founded, and much more. So if you're ready to learn more about Draftbit and build this amazing application, let's jump right in. In this video, we're going to be working on the home screen. So we need to split the home screen into different sections. The first thing that we see on the home screen is the header, which has a profile picture, a welcome back, the username, and then this icon. We move down a bit. We have this search, we can call it a search card. Right? Then we move down, then we have our job cards. So these, we've already constructed these. And then I went ahead and I've already created this. So I'm going to walk you through how we can combine all these different sections to make this screen. Let's get started. So I've gone ahead and I've created a home screen. So let's go back to our design. And what we need to do, we need to create a view. And this view, we need to split it into 3 parts. So we're going to have a left, a middle, and a right. And what we're going to do, we're going to change this flex direction to be a row. Then we're going to add a gap of 10 so that there's space in between. Okay, that's looking good. Then I'm going to add some margin of 20. Style the image. Then let's take a look at the text. It's going to have a gap of 5. And this starting to look similar, but then here there's like a space. So what we can do is we can give this middle a flex of 1. And this allows it to take up all the available space, thereby pushing this right side here. And there we go. Then now what I want to do, I want to fetch this user. So now I'm going to go to this home, then come here where it says on-screen focus. I'm going to make an API request. I think it's get user info. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to console log this and see if it's the correct thing that we're getting back. Okay, and as you can see, we get back the right thing. So what we need to do on the home page, I need to create a variable that I'm going to call user info. And this variable is going to be an object array. Initially, it will be blank. Then what I'm going to do on screen focus, when we get this information, we're going to set a variable. And this variable that we're going to set is the user info that we just created. We're going to set it with the response that we get here. Then let's go back to the left side. Then here it says profile picture. Let's copy this and see what this looks like. So here is going to be a variable URL. Then here is going to be user info, profile picture. Then inside profile picture, we have a URL. And that gets us the image. Then let's go to the middle. So welcome back is static. This is dynamic, which is going to be the username. And for that, it's going to be user info dot name. Okay, perfect. And I think that's all we need. So let's go back and remove the console log. And then on the right side, we had a bell icon. Then it was a dark color. Yeah, something like this, but I think lighter. Yeah, perfect. So the header is done. And up next, we're going to do this search card. And what I've done, I've created a block called search card just to save us a bit of time. And what this is, so I went ahead, I split this up into 3 parts. All right, as you can see, when you take a look at this, we have pickers. So we have a picker on the left side, a picker on the right side. We have a search input, then we have a search button. So that's what I did here. I did the pickers, the search, then the button. So the pickers, we just have 2 pickers that are able to pick a job type. And then here we're able to pick a location inside the US. Then search, it's just a text input. So this is the text input. Then on the left side, we have a search icon. Then we just have a regular out button. So I went ahead and I created this. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go back on home. Then now we're going to add the search. And as you can see, we now have the search. Below the search, we have latest jobs, and then we have some job cards. Remember, on the Get Started screen, we created this job card. So what happens when you try to open the job card without providing a date, like here, it's going to show an error. So for now, let's just remove this. then we'll add that back. So right now we don't have any dates. It's trying to pass the date, then it's showing an error. So if that happens on your end, don't worry, just remove the date for now. Then we're going to add it back. So let's go back. So we're going to add a view. We're going to call this view content. Then inside this view, we're going to have text. And this text is going to say latest job. Then inside here, we're going to have the job card. And then what I want to do here, I want some space between latest job and this job card. So I'm going to come here where it says gap. I'm just going to say 20. And right now, as you can see, we're not getting any job data. That's why nothing is showing up here. So what I need to do, I need to go to my data point API. And then I created a new endpoint called job service. And in this new endpoint, we're getting the latest jobs. So if I open this, we can see I'm fetching at this endpoint called get latest jobs. And then when I come here where it says test, we can see we get the latest jobs. So a job is going to have a job type, a location, company name, job title. So it has all this information that we're going to need. So let me save this. Then close this. Then what I need to do inside this content, I need to add a fetch. And inside the fetch, I need to select what I need to fetch. So I need to go to job service, get latest jobs. Then this is going to fetch, and you're going to see what the data looks like. So this is what the data looks like. And inside this fetch, I'm going to add a list. So the list is going to loop through the data. So we give it the data, which is the top level response. It's going to loop through this data. Then I need to put my job card inside this list. Then my job card is going to ask me for the job, which I'm going to say is the list item. Then there you go. We now have all this information. Remember, we've already set everything up. So now what we need to do, we need to go back to the job card. So here we have an icon. Here we have some text, which is the job title. So remember when we were doing the get started page, we set everything up. So we're now okay. So now whenever we use this inside our application, we just have to provide an instance of the job object, and then it's going to display it. And as you can see, everything is touching. So we just go to list, add some gap. And now everything is perfect. As you can see, we're now getting all these jobs from the backend. So what I would like to do is be able to click this job and then view the details of that job. So if we come here, we'll notice that this is the job details. Whenever we click a job, this is the information that we should be able to see. We should be able to see the overview of the job. We should be able to see the job details. Then we should be able to see the company information. So what we need to do, we need to create that screen. But before we do that, we need to wrap this job card inside a pressable. And then we're going to create a new screen called job details. We're going to go to navigate, center this. Then on back, we're going to navigate back to where we came from. So when we open this page, we can navigate back to the home page. And we're going to go back to the home page. And when you press a job card, on press of a job card, we want to navigate, and we're going to navigate to the job details page. And on this job details page, we're going to pass in the job object, and we're going to give it this list item. So whenever you click, so let's go to the job detail, And on-screen focus, let's console log that. So what I've just done, if I go back to my home, open the console log, and if I click a certain job, so if I click product manager, I'm going to navigate to the job detail page. Then I'm going to navigate with the job that was clicked so that we can display that information. So you see how easy it then becomes. Whichever job we click, we take that information, then we pass it to the job detail screen. So now we just need to display this information. We don't need to make an extra call to the backend. We just need to display the information. And we need to take a look at what this page looks like. So this page, it has this, we can call it a header, which is just displaying the information about the job. Then it has these tabs where you can click overview, you can click details, you can click company. So this is what we call a tab view. When you click it, you're still on the same screen, but it acts like it's navigating to a separate screen. So it's like a menu. So we're going to see how we can do this in Draftbit. So what we have here, we have this view that's holding this icon, it's like a t-shirt. Then we have the title, then we have some location information, then we have these tags. So we need 1, 2, 3. So we need 3 views. So we'll just say top, middle, then tags. And what we're going to do, since we already have the tags, we're going to go to job card. Then where it says tags, we're going to mark this. Then go back to the job details, and where it says tags, or even where it says header, we're going to paste these tags. Then we delete the ones that we created. Look like. Then we go back to the header, we go to style, then everything is going to be centered. So we're going to center align everything. Then inside the top, we're going to have an icon. Okay, then in the middle, we're going to have some text. The first text is going to be the title. Okay, another issue, we need to center line this. Semi-bold. Then let's go back. We have some space in between these. Just say 5. And this is just like regular text. Then we have a third text which just says over 100 applications. So we duplicate this. Then it's going to be date, then over 100 applications. Something like this. Then we have our tags. Yeah, then it's just different colors. So this last one looks like a light gray. Yeah, this looks decent. And now we have our tabs. We have overview, detail, then company. So what we need to do after the header, we need to come back here. Then we're going to look for tab view. Then inside the tab view, we have tab view item. We need to duplicate this since we have 3. Okay, then overview, detail, company. So we go to the first tab view, then the title, overview, detail, then company. Then I guess we also need to do the same in the component tree so that it's not, difficult to follow what we're doing. Then company. And we need some space in between this header and this. So we need to go to job detail, style, then we add some gap. And perfect. So now we can navigate from overview to detail to company. So let's go back to overview. Inside overview, we need a about the job, then requirements, then a button. So about, requirements, button. So we need 3 views. And I think now you're starting to see a pattern of how we design these screens. About, requirements, or about and requirements are the same. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do about, then I'm going to duplicate it. So about, we add a text, then we add a description. Yeah, so when you click on recent used, it then goes to the first item. So you have to think about that, otherwise you're going to click the wrong part. Yeah, that always gets me, but that's okay. So inside about, or inside overview, I guess, let's add some padding. So it's not on the edge like this. Okay, perfect. Then what we need to do inside about, background of white. Then I guess we need more padding. All right, perfect. Then we need some border radius like this. Then we're going to need some gap. And yeah, starting to look like the design. And here it's just job, details, and this is bold. So it's enter, bold or semi-bold, then 18. Then the text looks gray, so it's enter 16. I would say medium, then it's 16, and it's a, say it's a normal. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks okay. And if we go back, I guess this is much lighter. Yeah, so sometimes you can deviate from the design. And then I guess we duplicate this, and that becomes our requirements. Then you see these are touching. So whenever you see these components touching, we go to the parent component and we add gap. And that adds the gap in between but usually 10 is not enough. So mostly it's going to be 20. The job details is going to be job requirements. And these have like a bullet point. So now inside this overview, we need a button that says apply now. I guess let's just create the button, but we've created this button so many times and I could just go and copy and paste it, but let's just create the button again. It's not that difficult. So inside the overview, we have a button view. Inside this button view, we're going to have a button, and this button is going to say apply to this job. And inside here is going to be dark green. The radius of the button is going to be 30. And then it's going to be enter, bold. Padding is going to be 20. And perfect. If we go back. So we've got the overview done. And then when you click on details, you notice what I was talking about on the tab view. When you click the other tab, it opens up like a screen, but it was just still on the same screen. So overview, then details. And remember, we're going to populate this with real data, but for now, we're just using dummy data. So on detail, let's go back and see what that looks like. So on detail, we have company detail, job title, job type. So what I'm guessing is we create one of these, then we copy and paste, and then we just edit. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I guess it looks like an about. So we're going to mark this, then in detail, we're going to paste this, then we unmark, then I guess we need the button, then we paste the button here, then we unmark it. So now when we go on detail, but then we don't have any of the spacings. So let's go back to gap. And let's add the gap. And besides gap, remember we add padding. And it's starting to look good. And let's go back here. So this is going to be a company detail. So I guess we'll call it a detail table. Then we'll say a row. We'll call this a row. So it's company detail. All right. So here it's going to say company detail. Then after this, we don't need this text, we delete this. So inside here, the company detail, we're going to add a view, and this view is going to be called a row. Right, and in this row, we're going to have two texts. So the one on the left and the one on the right. Okay, so on the left, on the right, we come back here. So unfortunately, we can't keep clicking to see, but we just have to know what's going on. So here in the row, we're going to say row, then it's going to be space in between. Then let's go back and look. So it's going to be job title, job title. We come back to the styles. That's going to be enter, regular, 16. And it's going to be a normal color. Let's go back. So that's going to be bold. So everything else is the same. Enter. I'll get semi-bold 16. And it's going to say UX designer. Right. Let's go and see what that looks like. And it's starting to look okay. But then notice there's like a bottom width, like a border below this part section. There's like a border. We can't really make it out, but it's there. So what we need to do, we need to go to the row, look for borders, give it a width of say 1, right? But but then this puts the border everywhere. So it's an overall. As you can see, it says overall here. We just need it at the bottom. So I would say 1 here. Then for the color, it was, let's start with normal and see what that looks like. Yeah, it's too bright. So let's do light. Then we need a padding bottom so that it's not really, so that the border is not touching the bottom. So I'm going to say 5. And as you can see, we can now have something that looks similar to this. Right, let's add more padding, see if that takes any effect. Yeah, as you can see, it's starting to take an effect. Let's duplicate this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So duplicate this 6 times. And yeah, starting to look okay. If we come back here to this, we need to add some gap, I would say of 20. Then yeah, now it's starting to look okay. Job title, job type, salary. Experience level, location. Then lastly, we have posted on. Okay, and yeah, starting to look okay. Then what I'm going to do, so here on the job title, we don't know how big this title is going to be. So it can be very, very big. So we need to think about how we're going to handle those situations so that our design remains consistent. So for UX design, we go to config, then we go to truncate. So when it's too big, we're going to have an ellipsis on the tail. So we're going to have those 3 dots that you see when it's too big. Then we just say max number of lines is going to be 1. Right? And we need to do it for all these things that we can't control how big they're going to be. Right? So once we do that, that's okay. Then we close this detail. Then lastly, we have the company. So company details is just going to be the same, except we have this section here where we're showing the company. So what we need to do on company detail, in our case, we need to duplicate job detail. Then delete company. Yeah, just to save time. Then call this company again. So now when we click company detail, let's see. So that says company details, that's okay. So we have the details table, and above the details table, I would say we can call this the company card. Company card. Then everything has to be below that. So let's just move it around. Okay, perfect. Let's go and see what that looks like. So we have 2 sections, this, then this. I think we did a similar thing, right? Yeah, but it's okay. We can just do it again, right? So we can have left, then right. And on the left side, we have an image. On the right side, we have text. Then the image, We don't want it to be too big. We'll just say 75, 75. Then we give it a border radius of 2. Then a color of dark green. Then inside this, we need some gap of 10. Then we go to the texts. We need a gap of, say, 5. Then the text is going to be Brightpath Solutions. So just say company name. Company name. And again, we don't know how big this is going to be. Right? It's going to be enter. Then that's going to be semi-bold. Then it's going to be size of 16. Then below that, we have technology, internet, and technology. Yeah, I don't think I have the company descriptions inside my job, so we can leave that as is. So let's go to company name, this. Then we go to company card. Then what we need to do, we need to do this. Then go back, give it a padding, then a background color of white. Then a border radius of 20. Then yeah, it's starting to look okay. I guess there are a few things like the view, they need to be aligned. Then my image needs to have a border radius. Yeah, then I guess it should now be fine. Right, perfect. So now we have this company name card. Then here on company detail, right? And I'm seeing one other issue. I can't scroll through this. So this needs to be scrollable. So if I go back to job details, config, I need to make sure that this whole page is scrollable. And as you can see, it's now scrollable. Okay, then let's go to the details table. So we have company name, employees founded. Company name, employees. Then founded. Location, website, email. Location, website, then email. Okay, this looks okay. We're going to change this with the dynamic data as it comes in. But for now, I think it looks okay. So now let's go back home. Then when we click a job, we're going to be able to see what the job entails, right? So we have job type, location, company name, job title, company logo. So let's go ahead and fill in this information. So remember, when we open this job details, we have access to this configuration that's coming from the home screen, and it's called job. So if we go ahead, close this, open the header, on the top we have the icon, so that's static. So in the middle we have the UX designer, so this is the job title, right? And inside here it's going to be job title, right? Then it disappears because the data right now is not there, right? But then we keep going. So it says innovative designers in. So here, it says LA, this is going to be location. That's going to be job, and that's going to be location. So we're accessing it through here, right? And innovative designs, say company name. That's going to be company name. Then that creates a variable. Then we say job dot company name. Then we have a date where this job was created at. So yeah, we have created at. Then yeah, it's going to be job dot created at. Then we're going to format this date. And for now, I just want to show the year, then the month. Yeah, something like this. Something simple. So you can format it however you want. But for now, I just want it to be simple. Then here where it says remote, that's the job type. So we go on tags. The first tag is going to be job type. And then that's going to be job dot job type. Then the next one is going to be location. That's going to be location job dot location. Then for this, it has the potential to be big, so already I've sorted that. And then let's go back to the home. Let's open a job. And you can see the information gets pre-filled. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make this dynamic. You can go back, open product manager, and we see the information gets dynamic. So now let's do it for the overview, details, and company. So let's go back to job details. We're done with the header. We're now moving on to the overview. So the about, job details. Then we have job description. So remember, first we make a variable, then we link the variable to the data. So it's job dot job description. Then requirements. Right, requirements, notice is an array. So what we need to do, we need to use a list, because remember in Draftbit a list is what loops through data. And what is it going to loop through? It's going to loop through the job dot job requirements, right? And once it loops through that, we're going to display that. Then we just display here, say data, then here would say list item. Right, for this one, let's test this out. So let's go back to home, then open this, and you can notice now we get the overview, we get the job requirements. Perfect. Now let's go to the job detail. So let's close the overview, go to the job detail. The first thing that we see is the job title. Again, yeah, some of this is repetitive, but that's okay. Okay, now let's go to detail. And you can see the details have now been filled out. Overview is done, details done. Then we just need to do the same thing for company. Let's close detail, go to company, and the first thing that we need for company is the company name. And as you can see, we have company name here. Number of employees. So we have this here. So we have all the information that we need. Then founded. Again, location. Then that's job.location. Then website, this company website. Then lastly, company email. Okay, now let's test if everything is good. Let's go back to home. Then let's scroll down. Let's open this job. We can see all the information, detail, then company. And yeah, everything looks good. Then up next, we're going to look at the search page. Notice when we make a search, we can see how many results were returned, and then we're able to see the results. And again, notice it's using our search card and it's using a search input. So let's go back. Then what we're going to do, we're going to create a new page. Then we're going to call this search. And the first thing that I need to do, I need to go to search card, right? And whenever you make a search, so whenever you input this or this, and then you make a search and you click search, we need to navigate with this search input. So if you go back to button, on press, we need to navigate to the search page with that search input that you just entered. But remember, first we need to check, because we don't want someone to just enter nothing and click the button. So what we need to do, we need to check if, so the one thing that we really care about is the search, right? The filters of location and other things, they can be empty or they can have values. So we're not really concerned with that. So as long as search has a value, we're going to navigate. And we're going to navigate to the search page. And on that search page, we're going to take the search, then we're going to take the job type, then we're going to take the location. because we have all this data, right? We have the search, we have the job type, then we have the location. And if nothing has been filled out, I want to show an alert that says error, search cannot be empty. Right, we close this. Then on the search page, on screen focus, I want to console log this search as well as the job type as well as the location if it's there. Let me clear my logs, go back to home page, and now when I try to search when there's nothing, right, search cannot be empty. Right, now let me fill it in. Then click, we get all the information, test, full-time, on-site. And that looks good. And let's go back, see our design. So yeah, we have a search input, we have a show results, then we have this. So let's go back to our search, and I guess we can come back here or go to the search card, right? Because I want to copy this search, mark for copy, go back to the search screen, create a view, then call that search. Then inside that search view, I'm going to paste the search bar, right? There's no need to do it twice. We already have that search bar. Then here I'm going to add a padding of 20, add a background of slate 200, and perfect. Then here it says variable, we already have the search variable. And what we're going to do on screen focus, instead of console logging, I'm going to set that state. So set state, then I'm going to set search with the search that came from the last screen. So now notice what happens. So when I go back to home screen, then I enter a search like UI designer, then hit search. Now UI designer is automatically input into this search, just like we see here. Then we have this showing one results, error message, then we have the search results. So to do this, let's go back to search, close this view. Then here, I'm going to call this view content or results. Then go back to search. I already know that I'm going to have some gap issues, so let's fix that now. Open this data, then on job service, right? I'm going to create a new endpoint. All right, this new endpoint is going to be called search for jobs, and right, search jobs. It's going to be a post request, and we're going to be searching, getting many jobs. Then for the path, it's going to be search for jobs. Then it has a request body that it expects. So if I come into my Xano backend, I can see that this is what it expects. Then I can copy this. Then I make sure that all these are variables that I can later set the values of. Then here it's going to be type. Then here it's going to be location. Set that. Go ahead to test. Then we skip. Save this. Or we can just test it out. So search, so UI designer. Then we test this out. Type location UX designer. because I don't think we have any UI designers in my. Okay, we get something, so we save this. So testing this gives you autocomplete. So when you want to use this, you're getting autocomplete. So now instead of this results, we're going to do a fetch, and inside this fetch, we're going to pick job service, search jobs, right? And here on my search term, remember we have search that's coming from the other side, the navigate, then job type, so that's type, then location, that's going to be location. All right, that looks good. Then inside this fetch, we're going to have a list. All right, and the first thing that we do in a list is we add a gap, and then we go to data, and inside this data, we give it the data, which is going to be top level response. Then inside this list, I'm going to put my job card. Right now we get nothing because the search term has been cleared. So whenever it's updating, it's clearing the search term, but that's okay. We're going to pass in the job, which is going to be list data. Hope we don't get any errors. Then let's go back. Then here I'm going to search for UX designer. Then search, and voila. So we get innovative design, so we get UX designer. All right, and you can see it's different data because this is part-time, contract, part-time, part-time. So in my database, I have some duplicates. So that's why we might be seeing this data as the same. But if we go back, we want to narrow down contract. So if I go back and on job type, I only want contract. So if I search, now I only get contract jobs. Then, so what else do I need to do to fix this? Right. So we need to have that thing that shows how many jobs are there. So inside the fetch, we're going to add another view. Right. And inside this view, we're going to add some text. Then I'm going to center it, give it a bit of padding, say 10, then give it a, say, dark green color. Then the text, right, can make it white. And then the font is going to be Enter. I'd like this to be bold. Then the size is going to be 18. And this is going to say found. Then here we'll just say num. Then here we'll say results. So this is going to show us how many results were found. And we get this by saying top level response, right? And we're checking the length. So that gives us the number of like how many items came back. So now when I say UX designer, then I search. Oh, okay, I see the mistake that I did. Right. So mark this for copy. So I'm in the wrong screen. Go to search, in our fetch, paste this, go back to home. Then I'm going to delete this. Right. So now let's go back to search. Then in our list, I think this is the perfect hierarchy. Then inside here, since we can't use gap, we're going to have a margin top of 20, then a margin bottom of 20. Then instead of this dark, we have a light green. Right, then some border radius 20. And now when I go back home and I hit search UX designer, right, found, but then for some reason we're not seeing the number of results. So let's go back. Right, then for the num, it's going to be top level response dot length. So that gives us the number. So it just counts the length of how many items they were, then we're able to see. So if I say UX, should still get, so found 4 results, right? If I come back here and then I just say dog, right? We don't have any, so found 0 results. Perfect. So our search is now working. And if you can see, so software, right? And we get these software design jobs. So I'm not really sure how many jobs that I have in my database, but then you can see we have some duplicate data. So if we had a proper data set, we would be able to differentiate how we can search and how we can sort through this data. And yeah, that's it for this second video. We learned how we can get the user data from the backend, display it on the front end. We learned how we can search through our data, how we can fetch the latest jobs, and we learned how we can view these jobs, view the details, view the company. We learned how to search through these jobs, and then how we can see the jobs. If you found this video helpful, please drop a like, please leave a comment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.